right. Well, sorry about that.
That's fine, Andrew. It's good. We've got all the
Technical difficulties. We've got everything. We have everything here.
That's fine. You're doing a good job, Andrew. No one else could have done all this. Again, hello.
Right, beautiful.
I'm Miltiadis Paikopoulos, the Pallaconian Youth President, and I'd love to welcome you all to our first digital interview with Androula Matthews, a young Greek Australian author who's recently published her first children's book, The Bilingual Greek-English, A Holiday in Greece. I'd like to thank Androula, first of all, for joining us and offering to take her time to be interviewed. And just a note to all that myself and Andrew Christopoulos, the Youth Vice President, will ask the questions interchangeably. And another reminder that you can ask questions by either typing them in the Zoom chat on the bottom right of your screen or on the Facebook live stream as a comment, from where I'll read them out to be answered by Androula. So Androula, I'll begin by offering you a chance to introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Androula. This is my first bilingual children's book, my first children's book for that matter. I'm very blessed to have the support of the Greek community and extremely grateful, and it's a very big help.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've been following the book. It's done the rounds across the Greek media, and that was really impressive. So congratulations.
It has, yeah, thank you.
So I'd like to begin, Androula, by asking if you can tell us a little bit about yourself as well, personally. What's your background, those types of things?
Mm-hmm. Well, my mum is from Cyprus. She was born in Limassol. My father is Australian, but he is more of a Greek now. He met my mum really young and grew up with her family, and was baptized in the Greek Orthodox Church. So we were very much raised with the Greek culture as an important aspect of our lives.
That's a wonderful story. That's very rare, but it's a wonderful story.
It is. It's an interesting mix. It's good.
Well, hopefully that's helped you in writing this as well, and it gives you a very unique approach.
100%. Mm-hmm.
Andrew, do you have a question to ask?
Yes, my first question is, what led you and inspired you to write your first children's book?
So essentially, the whole book came about actually over the lockdowns that we had in Melbourne. I was meant to be on my honeymoon in Greece this year, and obviously that didn't happen, and experiencing the Greek culture again as an adult was very important to me. And so I was quite upset about not being able to go, like many people. And it just led me to really want to share my love for my culture with everyone and just connect everybody, especially when we actually can't be there right now.
Yeah, well, it's interesting that you actually turned a negative situation to, I guess, a positive.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, it's a blessing that something good came out of lockdown.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this came as a shock to everybody, but like Andrew said, you've managed to stay productive, and hopefully this, is very fruitful. It turns into a whole series.
Yeah. Yep. 100%.
So that leads me into another question, which is if you can tell us a little bit about the book itself. Mm-hmm. And since it's a children's book, what can parents expect when they buy A Holiday in Greece?
So it is a children's book, but I like to think of it as a book for anyone, because it's very relatable. So it's great for anybody learning Greek, whether they're a child or an adult, essentially because it's a guide through a typical holiday in Greece. So I feel like a lot of people can relate to that, not just children. But it's really fun. It's lighthearted, and I tried to put a bit of my own personality in it as well. So I think that kind of reflects in the book.
Yeah, definitely. Well, from what you've told us, you've got a really unique aspect that you can tap into, especially it's actually the ultimate Greek Australian outlook. So that's very interesting. Andrew, another question.
Well, you did mention that this was your first book. Do you have any other plans? Do you have any plans of making any more, of writing any more?
Yeah, I actually do. I don't want to give too much away, but I think definitely keeping in with the themes of it being bilingual in Greek and English, because I'm passionate about the Greek language. I didn't mention as well, I'm actually doing Greek language classes myself. So even as an adult, I'm learning Greek again.
Is that online, or are you doing that, with the community, or where are you?
Yeah, Greek Orthodox community of Melbourne.
Awesome.
Doing
That's
that.
awesome.
Yeah, so it's been a few years now that I've been doing that.
Yeah. Well, I think that's important. I think that it's something that's really beautiful, and I think that you touched on that, especially in your answer. I think you dealt with that really well.
Yeah.
Never too late to learn the language, is it?
No, it's not.
And it's one of the best languages to learn, so I commend you a lot.
Bit of bias there, Mills.
Just a little bit of bias. That's all right.
You're allowed to be. It's okay.
That's good. That's good. Another question. This is an interesting one, actually. You mentioned it a little bit earlier in one of your answers, but what has the Greek community's response been so far to your book, and how has that affected the way that you've shared, promoted it?
I think, like I said before about it being a lockdown project, I think the timing was actually perfect because all of the Greeks within not just Australia, but all over the world, because I've had an interest from other countries too, they haven't been able to travel like usual. They've had to cancel their plans. And I think that that's encouraged them to be attracted to my book, and really stay connected with each other. Yeah. But I really wanted it to be for anyone. So not just Greeks, but anyone, people who love Greece, people who want to learn more about Greece. But it definitely has been a great way for the Greek community to be connected.
Yeah. Well, from my knowledge, this seems to be a really unique experience. I don't really know of many other Greek Australians putting pen to paper for a children's book, and nothing like this. And I thought it was amazing to see all the different Greek news outlets sharing articles about your book and about yourself. I think that's really amazing. And I think that you've been able to bring a lot of really disparate groups together to support something that's pretty universal, a child learning Greek or learning about Greek culture. So I think that's amazing.
Yep. Well, I've been very lucky to have that support though as well. So people have been approaching me, and I'm really flattered by that, because I haven't even had to approach. So Neos Cosmos and Greek Herald found me and found my story interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful for that as well.
No, that's amazing. And I noticed as well that, I'm not sure if any other organisations have, but it'd be amazing to see other Greek organisations get around it as well and share it. So we are just one brotherhood, but I'd love to see a lot of other clubs and youth groups and organisations help you and promote your work and share it.
Well, hopefully, yeah. That would be
definitely. And now we haven't touched on this yet, but you have created almost a personal brand, Ikonis by Androula, to share these books and other products.
Yes.
Would you like to talk a little bit about that? Maybe some links that people and listeners could access and to find your products?
Yes. So the Ikonis, I actually created that as a brand, mainly to allow myself to do other things connected to this book as well.
Yeah.
And so I thought it's nice to just be identified in a way of a brand like that.
Yeah.
I do have a website, so it's www.ikonisbyandroula.com.au. So that's where you'll find the book. But I've also got greeting cards on there and a tote bag. and that's where I'll be releasing all my next products as well.
We'll make sure we'll be sure to post the link on our Facebook for anyone who wants to go over and check out the website and purchase a few things. I'm sure we'll have a few people.
Hopefully you get a lot of Pallaconian purchases. I don't know, they'll come out of the woodwork to buy your book.
I'll be looking out for them.
We'll go to them. Well, that was another thing that you mentioned, was that your family was Greek Cypriot, or at least your mum was Greek Cypriot. Is there anything Greek Cypriot that you've managed to include specifically, sort of regionally, or is it just you've tried to make it more of like a broader Greek?
I think it is quite general what I've done. So I did try to make it quite quite general, but maybe for the next project it'll be a bit more specific.
That'll be amazing. I'm very interested in that. Andrew, do you have any questions?
Were there any personal experiences that you drew from in writing your book? Like a specific holiday that you went on maybe, or?
Yeah, definitely. So I was definitely inspired by my own trips. I guess the things I included are the things that really stood out for me when I visit Greece. So they're the things that I sort of valued the most, and that's what I decided to include, although there is just endless things that I could have included, but I just what I thought was valuable to me.
Absolutely.
I do have another question. It was when I was reading a few articles online, so I think I read the one from the Greek Herald, which showed an image of you actually, I think, preparing maybe a still image from the book. So is that how you, so it's actually, you are not only the illustrator, but the author as well?
Yes. Yep.
Wow, that is amazing. That's really a talent. So you're doing both at once.
Thank you.
Which have you found sort of more challenging, the writing or the illustrations?
Definitely the writing. I'm not a professional writer or anything like that. I do like to think of myself as being creative, but I've never really done anything like that before with the writing. So I did find that a little bit of a challenge, but I've definitely learnt a lot from that. And I think that will help me with the next book too.
That's amazing.
Yeah, because I was amazed by that. So this is a completely original book. All of the work is your own.
Yes.
I think that's absolutely amazing.
Yep. Thank you.
It's definitely, and I think it's going to spawn a whole series, hopefully. I mean, I think there's the demand for it. And I think there are so many young sort of Greek families here in Melbourne and Australia, and they're just longing for some way to tap into it in like a very nice and accessible way. You know, if your kid is putting up a struggle to go to Greek school or something like that, if you can ease them into it with a fun and interesting, exciting book, then maybe they're more likely to do that. So I think this has a lot of uses, this book.
Definitely. Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'm just looking at the chat now. We do have our question. This is from Dimitri. Can Androula give us a brief rundown of the main characters and setting of the book?
Yeah. Yep. So because the book is more of a guide, it's not actually a story as such. I like to think of it as more, it's educational in a way. So the characters don't really have any names or anything like that.
Okay.
So it's more a guide of the typical things you do on a holiday. So it's quite general, and that's why I think it's actually relatable to anybody as well. There's no particular character or particular story.
Well, that's very interesting. Bit of a different approach to what you would normally see, but I think that's actually really interesting.
What I tried to do is just describe all the different things. So I speak a little bit about Athens at the start, and then I go on to what you might come across in the islands. It's quite general, but I try to describe each thing in a way that sounds fun for kids.
Wow, that sounds amazing. So like we've said, you're both the illustrator and the author. And when it comes to publishing, so you've self-published it, or is it's self-published?
Self-published, yeah.
That's amazing.
And
Because
printed in Australia as well.
printed in Australia as well. Wow.
Which I wanted to make a point of, just to support business within Australia as well. So I chose to print it here.
Well, definitely.
Yeah.
And with the COVID
Admirable.
crisis, you're doing your bit to help the economy recover, which is amazing.
A very small bit, but yeah.
No, I think that's a big bit. I think, you know, you see a lot of things being produced overseas, obviously cheaper, but I think it is important that we hold our core values and help, you know, within our community. So
Definitely. Very important.
Andrew, do we have any more questions on?
We have a Q&A question if you wanted to read that out, Mills. Can you see that?
Q&A. Yes. So this question is from Kathy. So she says, "Hi, Androula. Kathy here from the Pallaconian Brotherhood.
Hi,
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
We would love for you to have a children's storytime session when we launch our community library." And she's looking forward to reading your next project.
Oh, beautiful. Yes, I've had a lot of interest in people wanting me to actually read the book as well. So I think it's going to be something I have to consider now, even though it's something I've never done before. Definitely.
I think to put a face to the story would be amazing. I think that would definitely be something that people would be interested in.
I think it's important to people.
Well, your book is, you know, your book is the perfect opportunity for that, really, because you're going to have a base of supporters that are going to be very, very personalised. So I think that's really amazing if you do that, if you choose to do that. Yeah.
Definitely.
And hopefully, like Kathy says, you'll do it at the club, and we can have another opportunity to read your book, which would be amazing.
If anyone in the audience has questions, they would. Now's the time to put it in either the chat or the Q&A section of the webinar, so we can ask Androula.
We've had a request rather than a question from Tassos Tubardzidis, who's a principal of a Greek school. He says it would be helpful, Andrew, if you could share the link that Androula mentioned, her website, so that people can order books directly. We will be doing that, yes. Keep an eye out for that. We will put that out.
I was trying to see if there was any questions on Facebook. We will be doing that, so we will post that both in its own separate post, and also to the live stream on Facebook. We'll attach all links so that people can purchase both the iguanas that Androula spoke about earlier, and also book purchases. And
well, I think we don't want to mislead people. I don't think Androula makes iguanas. Is it iguanas?
Oh, no, is it?
No, it's not. No.
Oh no, so
I don't think so. I think you said like some sort of postcards or
okay,
visual cards.
Yeah, greeting cards and tote bags.
And tote bags, yeah, I thought so. We don't want people to go looking for iguanas if they find greeting cards. Well, perhaps that's something you could expand to into the future as well.
Maybe.
Your illustrations looked amazing, so maybe you could do
Thank you.
iconografia, but that's a big step as well.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that takes a lot more than what I've done.
Yeah. Well, see, a lot of our questions so far have focused on the authorship side, but the illustrations, have you always had a passion for art and for drawing and for painting? And is that what drew you to the story? Like being able to make some really nice illustrations and share it with young kids? Or was it more the story side, like A Holiday in Greece?
I have to say, I definitely have been quite creative my whole life, and I've definitely been an illustrator. I've done things in school that were always artistic, and outside of school as well, just as a hobby. But I think in this case, the main motivation was actually Greece itself and Greek culture. But it was natural to me to express it through illustrations and a story.
For sure. And I think that really plays into that request that people might have made for a story reading, you could also do something similar with illustrations. Some sort of kids drawing night would be amazing. And I know for sure that the club would love to purchase a book from you so that we can permanently store it in the
beautiful.
library. Definitely, we'd love to do that. I mean, this is a part of Greek Italian history now. It's part of the
this book too. Like it won't. It doesn't date.
Mm.
So I think it's always relevant.
I think it's also important the fact that it's also part of Greek Melbourne history. We do have a large population here, so that is absolutely amazing.
Cool. Have you reached out to the perhaps the GOCMV or some other Greek organisations outside of news outlets to do similar things? Because I'm sure the GOCMV would, if they haven't already reached out, they should really be trailing you to try and get you to promote this, because it'd be good for them as well.
Well, they actually did do a write-up in their newsletter about me.
Awesome.
I was really grateful for that. And I'm slowly contacting more communities about it.
Yeah.
But it's a time-consuming process. So I'm slowly trying to get it out there.
No, that's amazing. That's really, really amazing. And I noticed a few still images from the promotional images that you've been sharing around. So there was a fisherman with the fisherman's cap, I believe, and lots of beautiful Greek fish and food. I think that's amazing. And honestly, I think there's a whole range of products that you could end up pushing. I think kids would love a plush, papu or a plush.
Oh, that's funny.
Greek
So many people are saying that to me. They're like, you should
Really?
make little dolls and like little pillow toys. So I think it might be something that I'm going to think about.
Honestly, I think it is. I think it's something you should consider. Andrew, have we had any more questions?
Yes, I think, let me just have a look through the chat. Again, Kathy has asked if Androula would be available to attend our Australia Day barbecue. And maybe sell some signed copies of the book on the day.
I think I would, but do you know what? I'm actually going to be on my honeymoon during that time.
Well, I think you deserve it after all the effort.
The next event I'll have to attend.
That's all right. We'll calendar another day.
Definitely.
Andrew, I can see another question asked by Dimitri, asking if it would be nice if Androula would be able to show some extracts of the book. I'm not sure if you've got one on hand. Probably don't stress it if you don't. But if you do, even the cover, I'm sure we've got an image of it, which we could share.
Oh, that would be good. I think I sent you maybe the...
Yes, you have. I'll screen.
I can make you the host.
Andrew,
I can make you the temporary host. That way you can screen share.
I'll send you the images right now.
I've already done it. Mate, go for it.
You made me the host?
Yeah, that's no issue.
Yeah, you made me the host. Share screen. There we go. Hopefully everybody can see the cover.
Beautiful. So again, that was all original. That's all you.
Yep, all me.
That's amazing. So from someone who cannot draw at all, it's just amazing that, the detail.
Thank you. You know what? You can learn though.
I don't know what the saying is, but for the equivalent of I have 2 left feet. I don't know what it is for drawing, but
I'll share the back cover as well, which has some beautiful fish on it. And a bit of a blurb, which is nice. I think people will enjoy that.
It gives a little rundown of the book.
Yeah. Hopefully, Andrew, can you see that as well?
Yes.
Awesome.
Beautiful. So if anyone wanted to read that, they can now.
I'll read it out loud in case people don't have a screen. A Holiday in Greece, a bilingual book for all adventure seekers, holiday makers, and those eager to learn about the birthplace of modern civilization. be guided through a modern Greece, a country rich in culture, hospitality, and warmth. From the Acropolis and the vibrant Tavernas, the museums, parliament, and more, come on a journey from Greece's bustling heart, Athens, to the picturesque islands. For the young, old, and all lovers of Greece. That's wonderful, really, Androula. You should be so proud. That's amazing. I'll stop the share. Awesome. That was amazing. Well, unless we have any more questions, Andrew, can you see any?
No, I can't. If you give me back host powers, we can bring this interview to an end.
Awesome. There you go.
Okay.
Well, Andrew, thank you for your tech expertise. As always, you're a whiz with the Zoom system. And I'd like to extend a huge thank you to you, Androula, for taking the time to be interviewed. I hope we didn't ask too many questions.
No, not at all.
I think this was a really good thing to do. I'm glad that so many people were able to tap into your work, and I'm sure that you'll have some lifelong fans. So thank you again for joining us. Thank you everybody who is listening either on Facebook or Zoom for attending. And Andrew, I think it's a good time to wrap it up.
Beautiful. I'll stop the live stream now.